Hi guys, Sirak here. Today we'll tackle the new map on the Steam Workshop known as Pokemon RPG Red and Blue version. Now if you've ever played Pokemon Red and Blue, you'll automatically recognize the game. However, even if you're not into Pokemon, this is still a neat and I believe never been done before kind of RPG. So you start with a monk who will be your trainer. Now here's a few things to note. Your monk triggers everything. So if your monk dies, you die too. Probably the biggest piece of advice I can give you when playing this is not to lose your monk. If you want to buy something from the shop, please use your monk. And using Pokemon to buy things will not work. So your monk starts with 1 conversion, so 100% faith, and you can get more later. But it is important to note that you do not regenerate faith naturally on this map. So the first thing that you'll do is you'll pick your starter, and the game begins. You'll run into P7, so the Gray, who are the wild Pokemon around the map. They are able to be converted. You can choose any of Gray's Pokemon to convert. Do keep in mind about the conversion limits, so make sure that you pick something that you'd like to have, even if there might be more than one area available to you, so you might not want to pick the first thing that comes into you. If there are 2 players attempting to convert the same Pokemon, one of them will have the Pokemon, and unfortunately both players will lose their conversion. So make sure that you're not converting the same Pokemon so that doesn't actually happen. It's important to communicate on what you want to convert, just to make sure that this doesn't happen. Every 5 kills, your Pokemon will get stronger. It doesn't matter who gets the kills, so my advice is to keep the newly converted Pokemon away from the fight until they're a little bit stronger. It'll help you not lose them. You'll notice that after you beat a few gyms, the Pokemon do not get stronger at the same rate. The rate actually slows down, but the gold amount that you gain goes up. And this is just to further customize your Pokemon strength using the Celadon shop, the one with more than just the iron for purchase. For the gold to stat ratio, if you can hold off on buying anything until you can buy the rare candies on 5 or 6 Pokemon, it has the best value. Eventually, as the game progresses, you'll run into trainers. So trainers are player 4 to player 6, and depending on your player, so player 1 faces off against player 4, player 2 faces off against player 5, and player 3 against player 6. Now, if you check the Diplomacy tab, let's say that you're player 1, you'll see that player 5 and player 6 are actually allied to you. So player 1 can only kill his own trainers, and he can't help against the trainer fights for the other ones. The trainers are not shared like the wild Pokemon, so player 7's Pokemon. And it should also be noted that you cannot convert trainer Pokemon. So you can try, but all you'll be doing is you're making your monk a nice target. And we've already covered that you don't want your monk to die. There's a few warnings that come with trainers. A lot of people that play this game will eventually run into this problem until they figure out the trick is to keep your Pokemon as close to your monk when facing off a trainer. If you block the spawn of a trainer, you'll stay stuck in the next gym or boss, as you don't have the kill count to continue, so you won't actually get the badge because you don't have the correct amount of kills. So the monk naturally goes to the back of your group, so it's not terribly hard to make your Pokemon stay in front and your monk stay in the back so that he's not targeted. I've also tried to make sure that the spawns go behind the trainers. General rule of thumb would be not to pass the trainers with your Pokemon. The last warning I have here is that trainers should be aware of other players. They can sometimes unconsciously be blocking your spawn, so my strongest suggestion is to wait until they're finished with their trainer fights before you start yours. That way nobody's in anybody's way, and there's no need to have somebody block somebody's spawn, which has happened to me on more than one occasion. On the map, it'll also say that it has only 2 Snorlaxes, 1 Articuno, 1 Zapdos, and 1 Moltres on the map. Now, those Pokemon are naturally stronger than normal Pokemon and could be worth catching. The best way to win this map is trying not to lose any of the Pokemons, as the one that you've caught early on are naturally stronger than the ones caught later. The legendary Pokemons can help if you've lost one or two due to, say, bad luck, which can sometimes happen. A very important rule is that you cannot have more than 6 Pokemon, so 7 pop in total. So that's with your monk. So you'll notice that you actually have an extra population at the start of the game. So if you look on the far left of the map, you'll notice that you have a king and an outpost. Moving that king to the outpost restores your faith back to 100% once. So keep in mind that I said that it restores your faith. So if you've already have 100% faith and using that king, you won't be getting an extra conversion later. All you'll be doing is you'll be just wasting because you're already at 100% faith. So make sure that your king, you only use your king when your monk has 0% conversion, or 0% faith, sorry. It's also good to make sure that you use that king before you convert your 6th Pokemon. Otherwise, your Pokemon will start dying until only 6 remain. So again, that 7 population rule. You may notice that some Pokemon in the same zone are stronger than your other Pokemon, so they're more buffed. This is completely intended, and it's 100% luck based. As with actual Pokemon, you can find that some Pokemon are naturally stronger in the wild, and it's a great idea to catch those if they are stronger, as they'll be stronger for you as well. They can have twice the original buffs and as far as 5 times. I haven't seen more than 5, but I'm sure that it could, in theory, be possible, even if it's very unlikely. Those Pokemon will certainly give you a leg up in the race to become champion. A lot of players have asked why we don't have cartography on this map to see where your allies are. It's for a simple fact that although you're technically allies, you're technically racing against each other to become the champion. And also, I wouldn't want you to get to kill each other off the bat by putting you guys enemies. So the flags around the map indicate the gym leaders as well as the Elite Four and the champion. So even if you lose track of the other trainers, you can always track their progress using the flags around the map, and they'll give you an idea of their strength and their current location. So you can plan and say exactly how you want to manage your time, especially if somebody's very close to winning. You could choose to play cooperatively, of course, which I definitely encourage if this is your first time playing this map, but keep in mind that even if you are cooperating, there can only be one champion in the end, and it's the first person to beat Gary. So it's not like the next person becomes a champion, and if you beat him, then you win. It's the first person that beats the current champion. I've tried to make this map as straightforward as possible, so knowing which areas are next so you don't get lost. I will mention that you need to find Misty before going into her gym in Gym 2. You need to beat the unofficial Saffron Gym before getting into the Silphco. You need to beat the Silphco before you can go into the Pokemon Tower to get the Pokeflute, before you can wake up the Snorlax. You also need to beat Sabrina before you can use the Lapras transports across the map. The last thing I'd like to say is that if you've reached Fuchsia City, you can also find the Safari Zone where you can purchase a Pokemon for gold. Now, depending on your situation, this could be an option if you're lacking Pokemon and you don't have any more conversions available to you. Do keep in mind that those Pokemon are also affected in the 7 pop limit, so you can buy as many as you'd like. Just make sure that you're staying under the 7 pop. All in all, I would just like to say that I had a blast making this map, and I'm trying to keep it as close to the original story as possible, while making it something that most people haven't seen before in Age of Empires. I've even included the 8-bit music, even if it does overlap a little bit, and will most definitely get on your nerve before the end of the game. I strongly suggest that you download it from the Steam Workshop. There's going to be a link in the description to the Steam page, and have fun becoming the very best. And see you until the next video.